Today, I've got a couple of can't-miss closers coming to a bullpen near you soon that you need to snag now before Week 20 ends on today's must-add players episode.
You are Locked On Fantasy Baseball, your daily fantasy baseball podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, fantasy baseball fanatics, and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Baseball Podcast, brought to you by the Locked On Sports Podcast Network, the #1 sports podcast network. I am your host, Dominick Martino, and today we are talking must-add players as we wrap up Week 20. At the end of today's episode, I've got some must-add bats like I almost said Jeff Conine, but Griffin Conine and Josh Bell, and a great call-up in Zac Veen. And we're talking Jackson Jobe again at the middle of the episode. But to start the top of today's episode, he would normally be on a mustache episode, but we're sneaking him into the must-add episode today. It is Justin Martinez, former closer, but we'll say relief pitcher for now for those Arizona Diamondbacks. And he's been pretty good on his minor league rehab assignment as of late. We've seen him be really good in the past and close out games for the Diamondbacks. I think he's coming to the Diamondbacks bullpen real soon, and we need to add him now. So last time we saw Justin Martinez in a full season before he got hurt last year was 2024. 64 games, 2.48 ERA, and this is a 22-year-old, by the way. This is when Justin Martinez was only 22. 72 innings pitched, 91 strikeouts, and a 130 whip. Last year, it was only 17 appearances, inflated 4.11 ERA, 15 innings, 22 strikeouts, and a 1.23 whip. Martinez is back, better than ever, 24 years old. The kid's throwing 101 in the minors right now. He's one of the best must-add, closers or, guys that could be closing, in my opinion, for down the stretch. We talked about guys like Daniel Palencia, on the mustache episode. I want Justin Martinez on my team, right? So once again, his rehab has moved up. He's coming back from injury. I think I said that earlier, but if I didn't, I'm saying it now. Elbow issue. He's healthy now. Struck out 2 over a perfect inning in his last rehab appearance for AAA Reno. That was Tuesday. He's up from single A. It's his first. This is the third appearance of his rehab. Between the 2 stops, struck out 5, no hits, 1 walk over 3 scoreless frames. They got 1 more appearance coming up Thursday as I'm recording. So Friday, as you're listening to this, he's on his way back. The Diamondbacks are saying, specifically Alex Weiner of ArizonaSports.com is reporting Martinez could be activated at some point during the team's road trip, which runs Friday to Wednesday. If I had to put a guess on it, I'm going to say it's early next week. Let's see what does their schedule look like? They're in Arizona this weekend, actually. So maybe, no, they're not actually. They're at Atlanta. So when do they come back home? So I'm not sure where Martinez is, or where the minor league team is traveling, but maybe it's when they come back home the 21st. I'm not sure. It depends on how healthy Martinez is. But this kid's lights out closer, big fastball, good breaking stuff as well. Really, really, averages about like 99 on it usually. I think he's going to be one of the breakthrough players next year for closers. I'll probably have him ranked in my top 10 as long as he comes in and, shows out to more towards top 12. But Justin Martinez, for me, absolutely must add as we wrap up Week 20 here. But I didn't even draw his ownership percentage. 8% owned. He's still on the 60-day IL. Nice little IL stash until he gets back. But that stash probably won't. It's not like a long-term stash. So that's why he didn't make the stash episode. He's on the must-add episode. But let's keep things pushing, right? That's enough on Justin Martinez. Next, I have like a kind of little closer battle situation. I'm not sure who's going to run away with it. I have Ben Joyce and Samy Natera Jr. of the Angels. Ben Joyce is somebody you may have heard of before. Big fastball, He also coming back from injury. He's thrown 4 innings, has 4 strikeouts, has already recorded a save, hasn't given up any earned runs, has an 0.5 whip. He got the save on August 12th. Like I said, we've seen Ben Joyce be really good. I like what he's doing. He's coming back from that shoulder issue, big strikeout upside. The Angels aren't good though. I know they've won a couple of games of late, and that's the funny thing is that we've seen some save chances from them. If you're looking as far back as like August 2nd, it's not like 4, I think, save chances or 5 save chances for this team. Ben Joyce is 7% owned on Yahoo, so even a little bit less than Justin Martinez, and he is healthy. But I don't know. Let's talk. We'll switch to Samy, right? So with bear with me here 1 second, folks. Yeah, so once again with Samy Natera Jr., he's been really, really good this year, man. 27 innings pitched, a win, 3 saves, 42 strikeouts, a 2 ERA, and an 0.85 whip. And with Natera Jr., he's gotten 2 saves here of late. One on August 6th. Pitched an inning and a third, got 2 strikeouts, the save that was against Baltimore. And then August 11th, the day before Ben Joyce got his save, then Samy had pitched 2 days in a row, and had gotten the save on August 11th, which was what Natera Jr. did. I can't say either one of them are for certain closers. It looks like a committee here. If you're in those deeper leagues, Natera Jr. 6% owned. I'd say I'd probably be targeting Natera Jr., but I really don't desire either of these guys. Just to be frank with you guys, just to be very straightforward. With Natera Jr., you're gonna have, I think, more opportunities to get the saves. He could blow it, but he's been really good this year. I think Ben Joyce is more of the Angels' closer of the future, per se. And I'm just going to leave it like that. Once again, Samy Natera Jr., 6% owned. Big strikeout ratio this year. Been really good. Has gotten 2 of the last 3 saves. Ben Joyce has gotten the most recent save, though. So that's the situation over there with the LA Angels. This next guy pitched today, as I'm recording here on Thursday, August 13th. Keider Montero. I mean, who saw this coming? Who saw this coming from Keider Montero, right? Detroit Tiger starting pitcher. What a great season Montero's having. And let's see, I might be able to grab you his ERA and whip with today's brilliant start in it, because I would love to just see that myself, right? I snagged Keider in a few leagues a while ago. I mean, I want to say 2 to 3 weeks ago. I believe I had him on a must-add episode at one point. He's been really good. Okay, so with today's game, Keider Montero has a sub-1 whip at 0.99 and a 3.22 ERA over 128 and 2/3 innings. The strikeouts haven't been great at 86, but Keider Montero's not a big strikeout guy. 6.1 innings today against the Cleveland Guardians. The win, no strikeouts, no earned runs, 0.63 whip. The quality start. I mean, he's a magician, so I like to see it. He's 37% owned on Yahoo. Let's see who his next start at, see what I think about who he'll be pitching against next time out. He is going up against the Pirates. Love that. That's an opponent he can handle on the 18th. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. Tampa Bay, going to be a little bit more tricky. At least you get him for next week. So I'd at least do that. It may be a juice the orange situation here with Keider Montero, but he's hot down the stretch. Not a lot of time left. Could be a really just strong finish for Montero, who once again is 37% owned on Yahoo. Let's focus on the aura of Jackson Jobe and the big call up of Zac Veen. All right. And 4, I need to talk to you about one of my friends. Just got to mention who they are, right? Got to talk to you about my friends over at Dose. Can we talk about one of the most underrated organs in your body? It's your liver, right? It's your body's filter, processing everything you consume and performing more than 500 functions every day. It's involved in things like energy production, digestion, fat metabolism, and vitamin storage. So it's doing a lot of work behind the scenes. That's why giving your liver daily support can be an important part of building healthy habits. Dose for your liver is clinically backed liver health supplement designed to support daily liver function. Unlike another capsule or powder, Dose comes as a liquid 2-ounce daily shot that tastes like fresh squeezed orange juice. It's zero sugar, zero junk, and 0 calories, making it an easy addition to your daily routine. And, when you have to balance, sports games, if you play them, even if it's your kids, traveling around, work, late nights, or just a packed schedule, and those are why those simple routines wind up mattering. Let's tie that back, to Dose. It's just a quick 2-ounce shot that can easily become a part of your everyday routine. So, are you ready to give your liver the support it deserves? If you are, head over to dosedaily.co/LockedOnMLB or enter LockedOnMLB to get 35% off your first subscription. Your body does so much for you. Let's do something for it. That's dosedaily.co/LockedOnMLB for 35% off your first month's subscription. And then I just got one more friend I need to talk to you guys about. It's my friends over at Stance. So before we get back into today's show, I need to talk to you about, how it's the time for Everyday's Icon presented by Stance. As an official sock partner of Major League Baseball, Stance knows greatness isn't built in a single moment. It's earned over time through consistency, preparation, and showing up every day. That's why each week we're recognizing one player whose performance embodies those same qualities. This week's Everyday Icon for me personally is just going to be Jack Caglione of those Royals. I feel like we've been highlighting him a lot on this podcast, but I like to stick to my guns, support my guys. And Cags has been red hot this week in his last 7 games. 5 runs, 3 homers, 10 RBIs, 1 steal, 464 batting average. And that is why that makes Jack Caglione this week's Everyday Icon. The Everyday Icon is presented by Stance. Check out the Icon collection from Stance. Premium comfort, performance, and durability designed for whatever your day brings. Use the promo code LOCKEDON at checkout for 20% off your purchase with Stance, the official sock partner of Major League Baseball. Learn more today at stance.com. And all right, folks, let's get right back into it. I mentioned one of Keider Montero's teammates. If I didn't, I talked about Azora at least. It's Jackson Jobe. And Jobe's been, a staple on this podcast. I'm going to say for like the last month, maybe month and a half even, right? He made his first start with the Tigers. That was a good one. We're returning from injury as well. We talked about, a lot of guys turning from injury on this episode, like Martinez and Joyce. Jobe has returned, like Joyce has. 5 innings in his debut start, 4 strikeouts, no earned runs, 0.4 whip. That was against the San Francisco Giants. He's pitching against the White Sox as you guys are listening to this on the 14th of August. I still advise to pick him up. That's my advice. You're probably, I'd hope you guys our everydayers and our new listeners are listening to this a podcast early in the morning when it comes out. So you have the chance to pick him up before 6:40 Eastern time. I do it before the start. If Jobe goes out there and throws a gem, that 33% that he's owned right now is going to jump up to 50, 60, and there's not a lot of good starting pitchers left on the waiver wire, right? So, I really think that, he's just somebody that I I really want. I need him on my teams. I have him in almost every league I could possibly own him in. He was a number one pitching prospect, has great stuff, has rebuilt himself from injury. He's touched 100 miles per hour. He throws gas. He was mentored by Scooble for a bit. There's Flaherty is there, even though he's not good anymore. Has a lot of good mentors. Detroit's done good things with starting pitching over the years. Look what they're doing with Keider Montero right now. Jackson Jobe is one of the biggest must-adds for me. I talked about Martinez earlier. I think I just have to be true to myself and true to you guys. Take it back. I want Jobe number 1, Martinez number 2. If I'm ranking these guys on where to pick them up, I just got to be straightforward. Jackson Jobe, 33% owned on Yahoo. I think he's going to dominate down the stretch. I'd add him everywhere, and it's a great park to pitch into. I can kind of just go on and on about all the reasons that I like Jackson Jobe. But once again, my recommendation is to check your team, see if he check your league, see if he's out there. If he is, I would add him. But let's get into the bats for today's episode, and we're going to start this one with a call up. Zac Veen of the Colorado Rockies has been called up, outfielder. This guy was a top-end prospect as little as 2 years ago and homered in his debut yesterday. I love that. I didn't even see that. The kid's got a lot of talent, dealt with a lot of off-the-field issues in previous years. That's kind of why we saw him drop off prospect top 100 lists. But he still has the talent. It's there. We've seen guys like Josh Hamilton before overcome, issues off the field and still be able to perform well. Veen did play in 12 games last year in the majors, but I'm not counting those because I heard it was the offseason where he started to take things seriously. His life and everything, and just, baseball and just locking back into that former top end prospect he used to be. You could even look back at 2025 in the minors. Veen hit 289 over 93 games with 11 homers and 15 steals. We do have to go back to 2022 for some of those bigger steal seasons where he stole 55 bags, hit 12 homers in 126 games. But bottom line, Veen's fast, could hit for a little bit of batting average. I don't think he's going to kill you. Maybe like a 260, 270 kind of guy. Steal some bags, pop some bombs. Hit 24, bombs in the minors this year with 18 steals and a 327 batting average. Zac Veen has been really, really good. I'd go out there and snag him if you need some nice hitting off the waiver wire, especially your 5 outfielder leagues. He's 12% owned, Zac Veen. Might even be out there in some NL-only leagues as well. I remember I collected some Zac Veen cards 3 or 4 years ago. I thought he was going to be, a big deal. Hey, might pay off. For me, might pay off for you guys if you pick him up now. Let's keep things going. Another guy that not a prospect anymore, but was a prospect last year, got the call last year for the first time. Cam Smith, outfielder of the Houston Astros. I like this kid. I like what I've seen from him of late. Over his last 2 weeks, 11 games, 10 runs, 3 homers, 6 RBIs, 410 batting average. This was a kid who's had big success in the minors. Once again, my favorite saying about prospects usually is progression is not linear. Sometimes we see these, kids that were top prospects, takes them a couple of years to develop. Look at guys like PCA, Jordan Walker, and not everybody gets called up right away and is great. I know Cam Smith showed a little bit of flash here and there last year, but let's not forget the kid's 23 years old. It takes time. And, I kind of want to talk about, what this kid has, done in his minor league career. He's been pretty successful. Talk about what kind of player he could be, in the majors if, he really gets a hold of things here. Big batting average guy. You look back in his college days, you look in the minors in 2024, 32 games before getting the call, 7 bombs, 24 RBIs, 2 steals, batting .313. He hit 347 and 387 in 2 consecutive years in college. I like what Cam Smith brings to the table. People really thought highly of Cam Smith, coming up through the minor league system and in college and still now. I think he's a kid, just need a little bit more time to get things clicking. 5 outfielder leagues, AL onlys, 15s, leagues like that is where I'd be specifically targeting Cam Smith. But I really like what the kid does. There's power, there's speed, there's potential for runs and, RBIs in this Houston lineup. That's pretty solid for fantasy purposes. Like Cam Smith, go out there and snag him. But, when it comes to, talking about like names like Josh Bell, Griffin, Conine, names that are going to help you finish this week strong. My apologies, folks. We are having some technical difficulties. Please bear with me through this moment. I'm hoping, yes, we can get things situated. It looks like we have things situated. Yes, we're back up and running. Like I said, sorry about that technical difficulty, but we are back up and running. And I just need to talk to you about one more of my friends real quick. As I get my bearings back here. And yes, we need to talk about my friends over at Game Time, because there's nothing like going to a game to watch your favorite team in person. The only problem, getting tickets can feel like a grind, long queues, surprise fees, those prices that always seem to jump at checkout. That's where Game Time comes in. The Game Time app gives fans the advantage back with constant innovation. It's how you unlock amazing tickets and experiences in just a few taps. It's simple to use. The Game Time guarantee means you get 100% authentic tickets delivered to you on time at the best price. And here's the best part: the fees are included in the price you see. So what you see is what you pay, period. The seat views feature is huge. You can see the panoramic view from your exact seat before you buy. With those zone deals, that's going to let you pick the section and save even more when Game Time selects the seat. You can follow your favorite team and get alerts when the new deals drop. 2 taps and it's done. No stress, no hidden fees, just great seats in minutes. And that's what makes it so easy to decide last minute to hit a game. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code Locked On for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. And all right, folks, we're finishing strong here. Got a few more must-add bats for you. We talked about a couple of, young guns with Zac Veen and Cam Smith. Let's do an oldie but a goodie. Josh Bell. I feel like Josh Bell has a hot stretch every season that, just brings him back into fantasy relevancy. And you deep league players, you got to just add him. Not deep league, because Josh Bell right now, hitting third and fourth in this Twins lineup, just doing his thing. And the numbers on the year are solid. He's only 22% owned, and that's way too low for what he's doing. I'm just going to be straightforward. 117 games played, 255 batting average, 60 runs, 16 home runs, 72 RBIs, a steal. 72 RBIs are monstrous. The 60 runs is really good as well. And Josh Bell's just been on fire. Literally, We'll do the whole rundown with Josh Bell. He's been so good. The last month, 23 games, 12 runs, 3 homers, 12 RBIs, 281 batting average. Last 2 weeks, 12 games, 9 runs, 3 homers, 9 RBIs, 340 batting average. The last 7 games for Josh Bell, 5 runs, 2 homers, 8 RBIs. Josh Bell with that first base eligibility, playing for the Twins, has been red hot. I add him anywhere you need, some good counting stats, some runs and RBIs. The batting average has been plus of late for Bell if you need that too. He's usually good for some power. Getting a little bit older, power's a little bit zapped from Bell, but 16 homers on the season's not horrible at this point. Not great either, but the 3 homers over the last 12 games is nice. So we know that power's been there a bit. I like Bell. I'd add him where you need the first base help, corner infield. Obviously AL onlys, maybe your 12s, get to your deep 12s with this one. Anything deeper than 12 with some like extra bench spots, wouldn't go anything other than that at the moment. We'll do another, actually let's sneak into a guy kind of maybe flying a little bit under the radar in some situations, and that is Griffin Conine. And Griffin Conine, hitting of late, we need to get him on our teams just to maybe one of those juice the orange situations I like to talk about where you just get the most you can out of a guy before he kind of fizzles out. But 54 games this year for Conine, 276 batting average, kind of been slugging a little bit with that 943 OPS, 26 runs, 13 homers, 27 RBIs, 2 steals. And he's been hitting third and fourth in this Miami lineup of late. Kind of anchoring it. You look at the last month for Conine, the power's been magnificent over the last 24 games with 13 runs, 8 homers, 15 RBIs, batting .288. Over the last 2 weeks, 12 games, 7 runs, 4 homers, 7 RBIs, batting .275. Over the last week, 6 games, 5 runs, 3 homers, 6 RBIs, .421 for Conine. I'd add him just to see where it goes. He's been hot. May not be a name that's on everybody's radar. Everyone, is super excited about. Not saying I am. Just to name 5 outfielder leagues, NL onlys, 15s. Hate to be repetitive, but even your deep 12s, I'm not looking at them yet. I don't think it's necessarily there unless you're one of the not as successful teams in your league, and you just have to get somebody into your lineup that's hot. We'll see if it continues to ride out. What we could do, with Conine here, we'll run off some of his underlying stuff and kind of just see where that goes, give us a little bit better of a story here. Okay. A lot of red on Baseball Savant for Conine, actually. Hitting the ball really hard, barreling up well. Exit velo looks good. X batting average at 278. Maybe I'm changing my tune a little bit here. Maybe this success is more warranted than not. And there's always those guys I like to say at the end of the year that wind up just staying on your team that you didn't even realize, like, oh damn, Conine's still on my team. He's been killing it like that. 2 for 4 on August 9th for Conine with 2 bombs. Love that. 3 RBIs, 2 for 2 on August 12th. Kid's just been raking. Can't really get mad at Conine here. I changed my mind. Deep 12s, he's addable as well. Trent Grisham of my New York Yankees. If you didn't already know, I'm a New York Yankee fan. I'm from New York. Shout out to our new listeners. If you didn't know, Grisham has been leading off for those Yanks of late, and just kind of been doing his thing. Well, kind of back in the leadoff spot or late because they shifted away from him at times. But Grisham's a guy you got to ride those ebbs and flows with. And over his last 12 games, 7 runs, 4 homers, 9 RBIs, batting .283. Over his last 5 games for Grisham, 5 runs, 3 homers, 7 RBIs, batting .400. Grisham's one of those guys that gets red hot, starts hitting bombs. I'd add him now, and I think Grisham might be one of those perfect definitions of a juice the orange guy. Once he stops being hot, I will be ready to drop him right away, and that's coming from a Yankee fan. 44% owned on Yahoo for Grisham, not super widely available, but more than half the leagues on Yahoo is where Grisham's available. So I take a stab at him if I need power, if I need a little bit of runs. Even some steals. He's got 7 on the season through 100 games. It's not going to be a lot, but he can chip in a steal here or there. And that's going to be it for today, folks. Just want to once again shout out to our everydayers and new listeners for making Locked On Fantasy Baseball your first listen of the day. It's truly appreciated. And all of you guys sticking through the end of the season here. I promise you guys are going to do well. Matt and I are locked in, laser focused. I'll be honest with you guys, and if you want receipts, I'll show. I'm in first place in most of my leagues actually at this point in the season, and been doing really well. And I hope the knowledge is coming across. I hope it's being shared with you guys, and you guys are being successful in your leagues as well. If you're doing well in your league, or Matt and I have helped you, give you some good advice during the season, we love if you'd sound off in the comments and talk about that. It'd be really cool. And we just love to talk fantasy baseball with you guys. So any questions, comments, concerns, we're always there to listen and talk to you guys. But just wanted to say once again, thanks for tuning in today into Locked On Fantasy Baseball. Got a lot of great episodes coming through the end of the season. Going to do more 2027 stuff as well, because if you're out of it this season, we still want to give you something to listen to if you like fantasy baseball. But make sure you subscribe and follow Locked On Fantasy Baseball if you want to get all of those episodes. We're available on all social media platforms and anywhere that you can watch and or listen to podcasts. For those of you on the video side, we're going to send you over to the first ever 24/7 National Locked On Podcast Network YouTube channel. And on the audio side of things, make sure your second listen is Locked On MLB. But guys, until next time, see ya.